What's up, guys? I'm gonna show you guys an issue here in New York City, which is being able to afford rent in New York City is incredibly hard. And I'm gonna show you why. Okay, so rent in New York City is about on average 1,789 per month, and that's the cheapest amount of rent because rent in the Bronx is actually that much. Bronx is the cheapest place in New York City to live in, and it's around 1,700. Oh wait, well look how much money you have to make to actually live in the Bronx. So if your monthly rent is 1,750, you have to make 70,000, and if your rent is 1,500, then you have to make 60,000, and if you have rent is 1,250, then you have to make 50,000. Okay, so how much is rent in the Bronx? It's 1,700. Look at the minimum wage. It's $15 an hour. I mean, how much is $15 an hour yearly? You're gonna make $31,000 and 200. Okay, so the rent in the Bronx is around 1,750, and you need to make 75,000. 30 making $31,000 a year is less than half of that. So you're making more than 50% less than that amount. You're making like 60% less than that. Okay, so let's bump it up a notch. You want to afford the rent, so you need to make $70,000 a year. Well, let's take that and see how much you're making per hour to get that amount. So you need to be making $70,000 a year, right? And you divide that by 52 weeks. This is how much you need to make weekly to earn that much. You need to make 1,346. So now let's divide that by 40 hours, right? This is how much you need to make hourly. So in order to afford a rent of 1,700, which is a one bedroom, you need to be making at least $33 an hour. How much is rent in the Bronx? Again, look at it. It's that much. All right. Let's look somewhere else. Bronx apartments. If you look at these rents, most of them are pretty high. See, look, this is a one bedroom and it's 1,500. Okay. Now, how much must you make to afford this apartment here in Chatterton? And those places, 1,500. You need to make $60,000 for 1,500 rooms or for one bedroom. So basically, you can't afford the rent. Let's go back. That's it. That's all I gotta say for now. Have a good day. So, what do I feel about this? Well, I feel like it's messed up. So there's New York City affordable housing. Some of these programs are actually just bullshit. So if you make a little bit of some money, still are not able to afford the rent, and they're mostly trying to help the homeless people. You have to wait a long time to actually get an apartment, like maybe like about 2 years. And they're gonna help the people that need it first, which is mostly the homeless people who get kicked out, people when they become adults, they can't afford the rent, they didn't go to college, they didn't do good in school, the education system is bad, so they end up, becoming homeless because their parents want to kick them out. Um, they end up having to go to shelter and they're gonna get, help first. Basically, people end up becoming homeless. Why do people have to go to that level where they become homeless, So it's kind of pretty messed up. What I feel is like, yo, they should make rent affordable. Rent is not affordable in New York City because so many people want to live here. Um, and I don't think that there's many jobs. I think that the many jobs that are out there in New York City are these jobs where you need high qualifications. And a lot of New York City people that are born here, they have bad education. They have a bad education system, so they can't really get those good jobs. So then all these people that are not from the city who have a good education come here and get the good jobs, and then the rent is made to suit how much they can make, and so that's why the rent is so high. It's for them to live here. But like, what happens when all these people, can't afford the rent anymore? They need to just move out. These corporations are paying them too little. What I think the people should do is that they should revolt. It's not right that we need to rely on welfare. Welfare to me is a system to kind of like control us and to keep us here. And these wages are there to force minorities into poverty so that they have to rely on welfare. This is the reason why people are actually relying on welfare. So if you wonder why we are relying on welfare, this is the reason why. It's not that we're lazy. It's just that we simply cannot afford the rent, even if we worked. So they would pay our rent if we subdue ourselves to the way the system is right now. And so we have to subdue ourselves to the system, which is messed up. We shouldn't have to rely on welfare. We should be able to have rent. It should be affordable. We shouldn't have to go through the government to get affordable housing, like these programs and stuff like that. This shouldn't be necessary. They should just have affordable rent. The money that they pay should be enough for us to get these apartments. There's buildings all over New York City. There's enough space. There's enough housing for probably everybody. There's no reason why we should be having to struggle this way. The people that come into New York City, they should be stopped. Just the same way we don't want people to come into the United States illegally. And the reason why we don't want them is because we don't have enough space for them. We don't have enough jobs, etc., etc. People should not be allowed to live in New York City so easily, and rent should be controlled. It's very inhumane for this to be happening. So I don't feel like people should be coming into New York City. They should better the education system in New York City to allow minorities to be able to compete and go to college and take on New York City jobs, rather than allowing the whole country to kind of flock here and try to be a part of our culture. If New York City has a great culture, it's because of the people that are already here, and it's not allowing us to thrive and not us to evolve in our own way. Instead, it's subduing us and controlling us and enslaving us and pushing us out as people just so that other people can come and live here. It's not right. So that's why I feel like we all need to just kind of like stand up and say to the government, fuck your welfare and fuck your wages and fuck this rent, fuck your government plans. Just control the rent. Let us make enough money to afford our own rent and stop letting people in so easily and stop all of this corruption in our own government. That's not allowing us to rise as a people, because they're shitting on us as minorities, and I think it's kind of fucked up and messed up. We should really stop them, and I'm just tired of all these people being racist and controlling us this way. It's not right. We are children of God. We were all smiling children once upon a time, and our parents or people have taught us to hate one another and whatnot, but we're all the same. We're all children of God. We're all people, and we need to respect the fact that people are born here. If you're born here, you shouldn't have to be struggling to pay rent. You should be able to be born here and have a house and have a permanent residence. It's like if you were from Puerto Rico or if you were from Europe or something. If you're born into a household, that should be your home. That's your home. There's no reason why you should need to have to be kicked out or somebody say, hey, this is my land, get the hell off of my land. This is now your land if you're born here. And it doesn't matter what the government says. It doesn't matter. You have the right to life, property, and the pursuit of happiness. And wherever you're born is your property. You shouldn't have to be running away from your property, from your land. And the government should not have control of the land in such a way. This is your home. If you're born here, this is your home. Nobody should have the right to be able to come in here and try to take it. There's new homes made. They go up in the sky, then let them live it. But this is still our home. So we need to stand up against the government and say, yo, give us this land. This is our land. Not for free, but let us have control over our situation. And that's it. That's all I got to say for now.